Mm. No, no, I can't believe this, y'all. Look at this. So he told me we're going out for drinks, right? Why we pull up at a Starbucks?
What's wrong with Starbucks?
I got dressed like this to go to Starbucks.
Yeah, I told you it was gonna be a casual date. Casual, you know what casual means?
Casual as in getting drinks. So I dressed in a whole dress, heels and everything.
Okay, so.
And we're getting coffee. You think I deserve a coffee date? This is a PSA to all you ladies. Get to know somebody before you go on a date, because this is not a date.
Don't do this.
I don't know who you took out before. This is not a date. This is a cheap date.
Oh, so, okay, so now it comes out. Cheap, right? Cheap.
How else would you see this as? Their drinks are like $5.
Okay, so instead you wanted me to take you to like what? You wanted me to take you to
a restaurant. You know, you're supposed to wine and dine me. You're supposed to be a man. What's your excuse here? We're at Starbucks.
And you're supposed to be cooking for me. You're supposed to be a woman.
I don't even know you that well yet.
Right. We're doing gender roles, right? You just said I'm supposed to be a man. I'm supposed to, wine and dine you, take you out to somewhere nice. That's a gender role.
As a date, yeah.
Okay, cool. And you could have came over my house and cooked for me as a date. But we didn't do that, did we?
No, why would I be in your house if I just met you?
Why would I spend $200 plus on you if I just met you?
Because you're trying to win me, like.
Oh, okay.
You're trying to court me. Yes, I'm the prize.
Where do you work again? Where do you work?
What does that matter?
Grocery store, right?
What does that matter?
Right. So I make more money than you, right?
Okay. Well, obviously,
I had to pick you up,
you're cheap
right?
with it.
I had to pick you up, right? You live in an apartment, right?
Okay.
I live in a house. I have a car. I have a good job.
And
I have to win you over. You the prize, though, right?
And you take girls on dates to Starbucks?
And you weren't appreciative of going to Starbucks.
What am I supposed to get, a cake pop?
We're supposed to sit down, get a coffee, and talk.
Who gets coffee at 6 p.m.? Who gets coffee at 6 p.m.?
Then get a decaf. Get a tea. Get something else. Like, you being like.
And what
we're fed for free.
We're here
trying to get fed for free.
Fed for free?
I'm trying to get fed for free.
I could get any date I want.
And
I could get a date right now and have him pay for my food.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
You can? Yeah.
I don't know why you think that's so hard. Like, look at me. Like,
I could have picked up anybody off the street and paid for their meal. That's what this is.
Okay, but they
now.
wouldn't look like this.
I'm just paying.
They wouldn't look like this.
All right, what's up, Blueprint family? How y'all doing out there tonight? So we just wanted to show you all that short that's going viral in regards to modern dating and
on Instagram. The longer version of it, because it was much longer. But this time we had to title it, "Can We Leave That in 2023?" Oh my gosh. You would think that we post positive stuff a lot of times, and we would hope that is what actually picks up momentum. But it's not. It's the stuff that, is quite toxic that picks up a lot of momentum.
Yeah, that is true. So there's a lot of lessons also to learn from this video. But before we go in, I would like to share some exciting news with you all that we're getting studio time now. So we're going to have a studio set up, and we're going to have some guests to come in and talk about dating, relationships, marriage, etc., etc. And then so that you all see the examples of what's going on out here as well. So hopefully we get some good information, some good feedback, and then also to some great participants as well. So if it's something that you all like to do as far as being a part of our show and want to join in on that experience, by all means, please hit us up and send us a message, send us an email, or what have you. So we're readily available, and we're looking for guests as well.
Yeah, so we were trying to go live on Instagram too, but it seems like our Instagram wants to act a little funny for us, which is quite unfortunate. But there is a lot to really learn from that video. I wish we could.
Before we go in, is it too late for me to set the tablet up, like old school with the Instagram viewers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mostly. Unfortunately. But it's all right. Either way, we are here and to talk about this video, let's just dig on in because I would really love if we could leave this mindset in 2023 because unfortunately, I really do think that it holds a lot of women back, a lot of even men back for having a very successful, fulfilling, and loving relationship because we're so hypercritical on each other. And being, too critical can definitely blind you to so many good potential things.
I mean, beyond critical, I think just being a good person
Yes.
and having the intentions of enjoying yourself and trying to actually want to be in a relationship instead of trying to get
Something.
stuff. Yeah, get something in return. And a lot of people don't realize that. And I understand that people come from different backgrounds, traumas, situations, or what have you, and you bring that baggage, and we talk about baggage all the time, and into a new relationship, as you see here. So this girl has learned to pick up some negative um, mannerisms, negative things that she's carrying into a new experience of trying to date and trying to place blame on the guy who's trying to basically take her out and buy her coffee. So it's not a coffee date that she wants a meal, like he said. But at the same token, I think that there should have just been communication things that went on instead of just assuming, making
Right.
assumptions. Like she should have asked like where we're going to eat at, or
Maybe he should have been a little more specific.
right, specificity.
Specificity.
Yeah,
Yep.
specificity. We talked about that as well. Communication. I mean, I think we're living in a time where we live in our screens too damn much. People are talking, and I mean, thank you all for being here with us, but I think that people are talking on phones and videos too much and not at each other. And knowing how to engage and get information through conversation is an art that is slowly fading away, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah. And like you mentioned, not just enjoying the moment and being happy to be able to get to know somebody because that's what a date is all about. Like that's unfortunately the main part that the lady missed was, hey, you are still here and the opportunity of actually being able to be with somebody and enjoy their company, especially if you've been talking to him for more time, already.
Right.
It's like people are now learning to filter out the positivity with this hypercritical eye of like being fixated on flaws or shortcomings, overlooking all the positive aspects that could actually be right in front of you, or even maybe the potential benefits. The man was great of going down and saying, hey, I'm a catch too. Like, here we are about to have a great date and you're focused on where this date is versus me, the person who you're trying to actually get to know. This is unfortunate because really that it serves as like an opportunity. Well, it should serve as an opportunity to get to know someone, but instead it's more so like you're saying that person's not good enough or by itself, the person is not good enough because it needs this elaborate scenery or environment in order to be good enough to spend time with you. That's unfortunate.
Right. And then, dating is an audition for marriage, and they just met. So she's not putting her best foot forward as far as her mindset goes and how she's thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And whether or not the intention is wanting to take steps further. I know that's kind of hard when you first meet somebody, but first impressions are always a thing on whether or not you want to continue spending time with somebody.
Yeah.
And the way that she's coming off being very judgmental about the date and where they're going, he just wants to really see her in the flesh and actually, talk with her, get to know her, whether or not he wants to have a second date with her or call her or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And that's normal. Why is this a norm where, this female here is wanting to be wine and dine before she meets somebody? I understand that this economy for people, for regular men and regular women, is not conducive or not beneficial in the way of whining and dining and spending hundreds of dollars on a meal with somebody when you first met them.
Yeah.
You know, it don't necessarily got to be hundreds of dollars, but $20, 30, 40, 50. You know, this man has bills that he needs to pay.
Mm-hmm.
So just being, like I was saying before, being kindful and appreciative is, look, you know, this video is not being illustrating any of that when it comes to dating. It's just the real world that we live in. I mean,
seems like it.
I
The
mean,
brutal reality.
I'm not in the, you know, we're not in the dating world, of course, but what are you all seeing as far as dating other people and their mannerisms and their morals and their values? Are these things that are fading away? Is it really like this out here? If it is, you know, this is sad. And I've heard, you know, some things, you know, we hear a lot of doom and gloom every day, but, you know, just seeing examples of it is another thing. You know, hearing one thing is something else, seeing it is another. And it basically justifies the means of what's going on.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people don't like to see it being recorded, and we're in the age of everything seems to be recorded nowadays. And I know people may not like to see that in particular, but I think it is quite eye-opening, and if anything, it's needed to be able to call out bad behavior. Like, you wouldn't know if this girl wasn't so bold. We're not sure if this is real or not, you know. But if this girl wasn't so bold to just, you know, go up there and record herself and PSA the whole social media platform that she's on, it would not serve then as an opportunity for people like us and other people who have been commenting and saying, you know, like, dude, you're missing out on so much. Like, you're not seeing the brighter picture. To maybe open her eyes to what really could be a good thing. And instead, you know, just kind of highlights, hey, this sad, harsh reality of a lot of people aren't being shown this is wrong. You shouldn't be doing this. This is not healthy. But they think it's healthy because the conversations that's going on and the things that, you know, people say, oh, do this because you need to get this, the, you know, kind of transactional, unappreciative mindset like you were talking about, or entitled, that entitled mindset that is so pushed under the guise of self-care or, you know, I deserve or stuff like that. But it's quite unfortunate because, you know, this needs to be called out. As much as, you know, I'm not one to like toxicity. It makes my skin cringe sometimes having to post this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, it needs to be called out. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be said, hey, this is not something that you need to be doing. This is not how you act. This is not how a lady acts. Really, I think it's a closed-minded mindset that is full of just constant criticism, and that within itself is going to make you resistant to new experiences, new ideas, and most certainly love, because love is not that at all.
No. And, you know, I want to point out something in the man's mindset and said that, well, you're not cooking me a meal. You're not cooking.
Yeah.
And I think that's an indicator of where he is as far as his intentions are.
Right.
And I'm not saying that he's not looking for a maid. He's not looking for a chef. He's looking for a wife. I think that's what the purpose of this is too, is that men are still out here looking for wives. And in this example, I'm not saying that every woman is like this, not saying that at all, but then in this example, and then the previous example about the, what's that restaurant, the Cheesecake Factory female.
Right, which
who was
we found
upset.
out was a skit, but
Right.
you
So,
know.
but the thing is about putting stuff out there like this is that people start to believe it. Young girls believe this. Oh, you know what? If he's going to take me out for pizza, I don't want to go, or whatever the case may be. So this can't just be something that's, you know, continued or perpetuated per se. If it is, make an example of it, show how to resolve it, give some do's and don'ts about it, because I'm pretty sure that there's people out here who are imitating this as real life, and they take this in, just like people listen to toxic music or see stuff on TV and they want to think that that's them. it programs in your subconscious, and then you believe that it's you and who you are, and then you try to outlive this and live it out in reality.
Yeah.
So
You get a preconceived notion on stuff,
right.
which isn't healthy.
No, not at all.
Unhealthy preconceived notions, let's just say.
Right.
Yeah.
So I mean, everybody be careful with this social media stuff. But like I was saying, I think that man overall, his example is that he's looking for a wife, a woman with skills, and he's probably won't even, if this was a real life example, they probably wouldn't even get that far. If I was in a situation where I picked a girl up on her first date and told her, and then she just pulls her camera out and phone and starts recording, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm not here for this. And then, can you please get out my vehicle? Can you please get out my car?
It's a different time. I couldn't think of doing something like that.
I can't believe that's going on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you all experiencing any of this while you're dating, people pulling out phones, start recording, going IG, and then start, just blasting you because of something that they're not satisfied with, I can't believe that's a thing.
That's a harsh reality for the dating world now.
Right, because that makes it very hard for you when to take someone out to date if it happens to you. And how would you try to, that's traumatic for some folks. How would you try to get yourself together and then do it again, especially if you're a person who doesn't go out often? You could be a great, wonderful person, but that right there could be detrimental to your experience of trying to date somebody else.
Yeah,
and
sure.
And you'll learn. Hopefully you don't give up, but you're going to really vet this next person that you're going to date and say, hey, my past experience, this had happened. You're not this, right. Well, not that. I mean, but you're not that type of person, are you? You know what I'm saying? You don't try to, play me out like that and put your phone and put me on blast, and just for views and likes and try to get your Instagram up or whatever the case may be. That's ridiculous. Don't let that be a trend either in society today, that this is something that is normal. But I can see that's very immature of her to do such a thing like that and try to put this man on blast for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it certainly also dampens the person's the person's curiosity of having a nice new experience with someone. Instead of you being curious about, hey, what kind of person you are, you're like, oh, that's what kind of person you are, and then that's just, like you said, not a very good place to want to be. And then on top of it all, you're just not being able to enjoy where you're at or even wanting to engage in other scenarios, unfamiliar situations with people, because you start to think that all people are like this and that they're all going to do this to you. You may even start to close yourself off to other experiences that would be a beautiful opportunity for you, but you're just like, no. And that's what we see a lot of, unfortunately, and men and women have started to close themselves off to the possibility of love. We hear this all the time, close themselves off to the possibility of marriage, especially. And, that to me is even more unfortunate, because that means there are going to be less families and then less communities and then less wonderful societies for our generations to grow up in. And that to me is the most devastating part of it all. And it's quite unfortunate, but I just wish that people weren't so much overthinking and dissecting each other and picking each other apart, every little detail. And in a way that can lead to analysis paralysis.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all have heard of that, but you're just stuck in the, what if this happens? What if but that could happen, or all these other negative things just flood your mind to where you're not even willing to take that leap of faith that love requires, that open to the possibility that love requires, because you're just like, oh no, that could definitely be bad. But I
mean, especially for this, our society today, and how people are raised in their past and their youth, and it causes distrust issues. And so that's something I wanted to bring up too, and something that I had read about recently. I haven't talked about that either, that people nowadays, what they're finding out is that, in the past, relationships before the internet, people dated and they trust very early and were very loyal in relationships. That was the mindset. You go into a new experience and meet somebody, and trust, it was easier to obtain, and loyalty was easier to obtain prior to the
Mhm.
internet. Dating somebody, all you have is a phone number, right?
Mhm.
And so now, with all of this easy access that we have going on today with the internet and FaceTiming people and just going on dating websites and what have you, it's harder to actually realize, that it's hard to bring into a new relationship trust and loyalty. People are now, and I read this, that people are now going into new relationships and experiences with people with disloyalty and not trusting anybody. And we hear that a lot, that people don't trust people anymore dealing with dating and all of this stuff that's going on because of all this stuff we see on social media or TV or what you listen to in the radio, thinking that somebody's always trying to get over on you. So how can you build a relationship with that mindset? You can't. And this is the end result in what we're seeing today, that people are waiting to get married. And I know there's an economic factor to that, but people are waiting later to get married, or not getting married at all. We're at the lowest rates for marriage and the highest rates for divorce. This is crazy. This society and
Sad.
we need to change our mindsets about how we approach relationships and making sure that it is long term. So
Yeah.
have that long term mindset of the past of going into the relationship or the date with the intention of building trust and being loyal to this person, and not trying to game this person and get a one up on that person, and making bad experiences and trauma on that other person because you were not intentional about what you were doing and how you wanted to date.
Yeah.
That's something that needs to stop.
And be a good person. I think we talked about that, but just that is maybe the number one thing that I wish people would highlight about themselves more than anything else, is that they're a good person. And unfortunately, that has to be proven in this day and age because of that lack of trust that people have, and because of what seems to be like so many other ulterior motives out there. People have to show up front, I'm a good person. I want to be a good person. I have good intentions. That needs to be highlighted more than anything else. And I think that would help maybe release some of this anxiety that people are having, some of this, fear that people are having, and instead allow them to be open to the possibility of new experiences. Maybe ease it so that they can at least be curious of, hey, could this be something worth going after, versus being completely shut off. So I just think that there is a brutal reality of modern dating now that just really is unfortunate. And that's one of the reasons why we do what we do. We are blessed to have a beautiful relationship that we certainly don't take for granted, and thank God for every single day. And I wish this upon every person, because the levels of love and the heights of the great experiences that you have, and this just the favor that you receive when you're in a great loving relationship, especially when God is right in front of you and actively helping you along the way. It's a beautiful experience that I wish on everyone. But unfortunately, the reality is not everyone can have that. So I think just to increase your chances of actually having this experience, work hard at just trying to be a good person.
Mhm.
Embrace, imperfection, understanding that nothing is perfect. And, you can't expect all experiences to be perfect all of the time, 100%. If you go into a date and you're dating a guy and he doesn't take you where you want to go, embrace the new opportunity. Look for the good in it. Maybe you like chai lattes. Maybe you like hot cocoa. Find something. Maybe you do like them cake pops. If it's what you like, get a cake pop. If it's going to
I mean, they
make you
got
enjoy
sandwiches at coffee places.
just look for a way to enjoy the experience. You have that control. You really do.
I think another issue too, I know you're trying to get to the positive about things, but another issue too is the illusion of options. And this female probably think that I've been on, I've I only go on restaurant dates. She has, but the thing is this: you're no longer with that person that you went on that date with. Something happened, and more than likely, the issue may have been her, and the reason why that guy didn't want to date her anymore with that type of attitude that she has. And that may be she's probably a walk-in red flag. That's what I'm saying. So there's something for guys to be cautious about women who don't appreciate your first attempt, but make sure that you also to verbally communicate what the date is all about and what you all are going to do, just to be fair, and seeing if that female is down for that. It's a different thing if you already told her and then this has happened to that guy.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother different thing, and that's psycho to me. You just need to drop her off where she's at and say, all right, I'll goodbye, lose my number.
Yeah, communication will definitely solve all of that. So,
Right.
well, not solve all, it won't, but communication will definitely help it
Prevent the
yeah,
surprises.
go a little smoother. Yeah, certainly. I agree 100%. Well, we haven't been live in a minute, and we wanted, before we start our active studio conversations with guests, which we are super excited about, to actually pivot. We're going to start having real conversations with people, a great studio audience, studio that's working with us. So I'm really excited for that. But we really wanted to come in here because although we had to put that video out, it's important that we're able to balance this with telling you some positivity, some ways of, working with the negative that's out there. Because to be honest, we need to learn from stuff. We need to be able to grow from stuff. We can't clam up and run from the reality and, face it for what it is. Because this actually helps people to know, like, hey, I shouldn't be doing that. You remember that? I know we're about to close up, but you remember that the list that was going all around saying, oh, no coffee dates. Oh, no this. So did you see that with like the list of things that women said that they just absolutely would not do?
I mean,
how do you, what?
I mean, I get it. I mean, I get it.
Don't.
I get it. But
Explain. How do you get it?
She's looking
'Cause
for
I
a
don't.
meal, just like the guy was saying. Like, women nowadays, people are hungry and they got bills that they want to pay.
Then that's not a date. That's not a date. That list was wrong. Because then you're just your intentions. That's not what you're
Right.
intending.
You see, there's people that it kind of sucks, but this economy that we're living in is forcing people to make decisions every day that they don't want to make. And a lot of these people who go on dates are making decisions based off their stomach first. That's their first part. You get me fed first and I can talk to you, which is completely horrible. It's horrible. Maybe she's hangry. I don't know.
Or maybe even the fantasy of things that you wished and longed for when you were younger. That
What
you're
do you
just I think a lot of times too, women in their mind, they thought so much about how they wanted things to go that when things don't pan out exactly how they thought it would go, then they're just like, oh,
That's overthinking.
this is, yeah, it is. And it's hypercritical and all the other stuff like we said. But, and you have to balance that criticism with optimism. If you're going to be critical, you can't let it overshadow your ability to see the good in what's going on. And that's what I think that list to me did. It just showed that, oh, you're just not able to embrace new experiences with people. There is nothing I wouldn't do with you. Like I would do anything with you. Like I will go anywhere.
I mean, but you were intentional about relationship.
Right. And that's the unfortunate thing.
I think that the first impression of a lot of people who are dating, especially from this example, this woman here, her intention was to get fed, like he was saying. Oh, you're looking for a meal. And that is what's going on with a lot of these first date impressions and things like that, and want to be wined and dined and all this other BS. I mean, I ain't calling it BS. If it can happen for you, it can happen for you. But if you basing that on whether you're gonna call the person back the next time or go on another date with you, you really need to reconsider your intentions and on your dating options on how you're dating, because you're limiting, like my wife said in the beginning, you're limiting your chances of getting married and finding somebody that's out there for you by basing that all on a meal or whether they're gonna pay for your meal or not. And I saw this other thing too. This guy took this girl out on for her birthday, and she brings her friends. Don't think that guys are going to pay for all your damn friends.
Yeah, that's not a date.
No, it's not.
I think people got dates all mixed up what a date is.
Right. So guys, if women bring a tag along, a third, fourth, fifth wheel, tell her, what, I'm not here for this. I'm here to just focus on you. And if this ain't the case, and if I can't have your undivided attention, you got to bring the whole gang with you. I'm not here for this. to prevent you from all the BS of having to pay for the tab or these women getting up and just walking away. So don't let that happen to you all either while you all are dating. I've seen that as an example on the internet.
Yeah.
And if that is a real thing, that's totally jacked up. Like,
Yeah.
why is it that? And you only see this from women. These examples from women. Are women really doing this? Like, comment in your dating experience recently whether this is something that is happening to you. Because I'm glad I'm not in the dating game in 2024 or in the past 2023 or whatever the case may be. I'm glad to be happily married for 8 years. This is crazy. I couldn't imagine doing this or seeing this in college either. It was different. Girls actually wanted a boyfriend, be in a relationship and things like of that nature. Now it just seems as if they just want stuff.
Yeah.
It seems so material and they gotta stop. It has got to stop.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. And I really, and one more point to leave with you all, surround yourself with positive people. I think a lot of this is the company that people are keeping, whether that's social media or the company you watch on social media or the company that you have right in your face. It has a great impact and influence on your outlook, the things you do, what you experience, all of that. So please, if you know that you want to actually have a loving relationship, and that is genuinely why we do this and what we genuinely hope for all of you all to have a good, healthy relationship, please surround yourself with people that are going to make a positive impact on your life, who are optimistic, who are supportive, and in particular, who are open to new things. Don't be so hypercritical on each other. That is another unfortunate thing because life is full of surprises and you never know what's going to happen. And when you're in a relationship in general, you cannot be so hypercritical and not able to take on a challenge when it comes your way, or take on something that you didn't expect when it comes your way and be able to turn it into something positive. I think that is the number one one positive trait of a good wife, is her ability to help navigate a relationship and navigate an environment or situation with your husband in a way that's going to bring in positivity, not damper it, not make the man, or even the woman too. You don't want a man who is just like, oh, woe is me on everything. You want to be able to have something thrown your way and you're able to take that and turn it into something better. That's what makes a relationship great, when you're able to go through life with someone who can help you see the positive, be happy, be ready to go forward, and seize opportunities together. So,
Yep. Facts. Super facts.
yeah.
Super facts. Good job, honey.
Yeah, good job too. This is a good conversation. Again, like we said, we haven't been going live. We're pivoting. We're trying new things. Really excited about that.
Yep.
So stay tuned, and thank you all for being patient with us as we gather everything together. Again, I seen a comment say, oh, we hate the negative stuff. And I get that too. But you know what then? That means push the positive stuff. When you see positive stuff, hit that thumbs up button, like the comment. So then that way the algorithm helps support us when we do our positive stuff. Because our negative stuff, I'm telling you, that stuff cook like hotcakes. It just go out. But, the negatives, the negative stuff goes out like good old hotcakes, pancakes. Everybody want it. But the positive stuff is not fed as much. People don't take that in. So we really want you guys to do that. We really want to keep doing the positive stuff. And we're going to do it either way. It don't even matter. Whatever. But,
Yep. So with that said, Blueprint family, thank you all for joining us tonight. Yeah. And until next time, we will see you again. You all have a wonderful night. Peace.
I'm telling you, this thing is acting weird.